A huge orca was stranded on the shore, unable to return to the water on its own, when it seemed that all hope was lost, and the orca had only a few hours left to live. A local resident unexpectedly spotted the unfortunate animal. It was an ordinary Wednesday in Newport Beach, Oregon. The sun was slowly rising above the horizon, painting the sky in soft shades of pink and orange. The ocean was calm and the waves lazily lapped against the sandy shore. Jake Thompson, a local fisherman, was the first to notice unusual activity in the water near the shore. He squinted, trying to see what was going on. Suddenly his eyes widened in surprise. It was a pod of orcas slowly circling near the shore. Jake didn't just spot the orcas, he was so amazed by their appearance that he dropped his fishing rod on the sand. His hands trembled with excitement as he tried to pull his phone out of his pocket. His heart was pounding as he recorded these majestic creatures on camera. News about the Orca is quickly spread through the town. People began gathering on the beach to see these amazing marine animals. Among them was Emily Green, a local marine biologist who watched the behavior of the orcas with admiration. Emily explained to the crowd that the orcas were probably hunting in the area. She spoke about their intelligence, social structure, and importance to the ocean ecosystem. People welcomed his stories, where the line between the known and the unknown fades, and the shadows whisper truths untold. Tonight, we delve into the primal connection between humans and animals, a bond forged in trust, sometimes fear, and always in mystery. Listen to her with genuine interest, asking questions and sharing their impressions. By evening, the orcas began swimming farther out to sea. The crowd on the beach gradually thinned out as people headed home, discussing what they had seen. No one could have predicted that the next morning would bring an entirely unexpected turn of events. Early Thursday morning, Sarah Johnson, out for her morning jog on the beach, noticed something unusual on the sand. As she got closer, she realized in horror that it was a huge orca stranded on the shore. At first, Sarah froze in shock, but then she gathered herself and thought to call the animal rescue service. Within an hour, several local residents had gathered on the beach, ready to help the animal in distress. The orca, later named Oliver, was about 20 feet long and weighed about 660 lb. He lay motionless on the sand, occasionally emitting quiet sounds that resembled groans. The first to arrive were specialists from the local marine life center. They quickly assessed the situation and began to act. The most important thing was to keep Oliver's skin moist to prevent dehydration and overheating. The first volunteers to arrive were so shocked by the sight of the huge animal on the sand that some couldn't hold back their tears. The volunteers formed a human chain from the ocean to Oliver, passing buckets of water to each other. They constantly poured water over the orca's skin, trying to protect him from the scorching sun. Someone brought large pieces of cloth, which were soaked and placed on Oliver's body. The process of de-in Oliver with water was very exhausting. People worked until they were worn out, their arms aching from constantly carrying buckets. Some volunteers developed large blisters on their hands but refused to stop working. Meanwhile, specialists contacted the nearest aquarium and a veterinary clinic specializing in marine mammals. They requested additional equipment and expert assistance. News about the stranded animal quickly spread throughout the town. More people kept arriving to help. Among them was Mike Anderson, an experienced diver and marine animal rescuer. Mike suggested using inflatable pontoons to try to move Oliver back into the water. However, this idea was rejected due to the risk of seriously injuring the animal. Another volunteer, Lisa Brown, suggested calling a helicopter to lift the orca and move him to the water, but experts explained that this method was too dangerous for an animal of this size. By noon, more than 100 people had gathered on the beach. Local restaurants brought food and water for the volunteers. The police set up a barrier to protect Oliver from overly curious onlookers. Veterinarians regularly checked on Oliver's condition. They measured his temperature and monitored his breathing and heart rate. Despite the stress, Oliver's condition remained stable, giving hope for a successful rescue. When Oliver's temperature began to rise dangerously, panic spread among the rescuers. People started shouting for more water, more ice, more of anything that could help. The air was filled with anxiety and fear. Experts discussed various rescue options. They considered using an excavator to dig a channel from Oliver to the ocean. However, people feared that the vibrations and noise might frighten the already scared animal even more, and the channel might not be deep enough to save him. Someone suggested using special sleds to drag Oliver across the sand, but this idea was also rejected due to the risk of damaging the orca's delicate skin. Time was running out, and everyone understood that each minute on land reduced Oliver's chances of survival. Volunteers worked tirelessly, constantly pouring water over the animal and protecting him from the sun with large pieces of cloth. A few hours later, a team of marine biologists arrived. They brought special equipment to monitor the orca's condition and more effective ways to keep him hydrated. Evening came, but the work didn't stop. Volunteers worked in shifts, providing continuous care for Oliver. Eventually, specialists concluded that the only real chance to save Oliver was to wait for the incoming tide and try to push him back into the ocean. Everyone eagerly awaited the arrival of high tide. The wait for the tide felt endless. Each minute stretched into hours for the exhausted volunteers. People kept checking their watches and looking at the ocean, praying for the water to come faster. Fortunately, the weather forecast was favorable. A strong tide was expected soon. This gave the rescue team time to prepare. Long canvas sheets were brought in which were planned to be placed under Oliver. This was supposed to make it easier to move the orca to the water and reduce the risk of injury. When they began to slide the canvas under Oliver, a dangerous situation arose. The animal suddenly jerked, nearly crushing one of the rescuers. Everyone froze in horror, but luckily no one was hurt. Once the canvas was in place, dozens of people lined up along it. On command, they began pulling, trying to move Oliver toward the water, while another group of people pushed the animal from behind. Progress was slow but steady. Each inch was hard. When people pulled with all their strength, encouraging each other with shouts and cheers, Oliver seemed to understand what was happening and tried to help, confidently moving his tail and flippers. At one point, it seemed like Oliver had stopped breathing. A heavy silence fell, broken only by the sound of the waves. A veterinarian rushed to check his vital signs, and then everyone breathed a sigh of relief when he confirmed that the orca was still alive. Gradually, the seawater began to reach Oliver's body. This gave the rescuers new strength and energy. People doubled their efforts, knowing they were close to their goal. Finally, Oliver was deep enough in the water to begin moving on his own. The moment he was able to swim on his own, energetically moving his flippers caused an outpouring of emotions from everyone present. People cried, hugged, and cheered. However, Oliver didn't immediately swim out into the open ocean. Surprising everyone with his behavior, he made a few circles near the shore, as if getting used to the water after being on land for so long. Everyone held their breath, hoping he could return to the ocean, and then to everyone's joy, Oliver began swimming confidently away from the shore. He surfaced several times, showing his strength and vitality. It looked like a farewell gesture of gratitude to his rescuers. The people on the shore didn't leave for a long time, watching as Oliver disappeared into the vast ocean. Many cried with joy and relief. It was a truly amazing display of human kindness and the power of unity. Oliver's rescue story quickly spread around the world. He became a symbol of what can be achieved when people come together for a common goal. This event also brought attention to the importance of preserving marine ecosystems and protecting marine mammals. Oliver's rescue story once again showed how amazing and intelligent orcas are, and how important it is to protect them and their habitats. Remember, the next time you hear the rustle of leaves or feel unseen eyes watching, it could be more than just your imagination.